So how many of our federal MPs own rental properties? It would be silly to ignore this fact when we're discussing possible changes to capital gains tax and negative gearing in the upcoming federal budget. We always know they will have their own personal interests at heart. So let's talk about what they own and how this could impact some of these possible changes. So across the board, more than half of federal politicians own at least one investment property, and at least 50 MPs are collecting rental income. Now, federal politicians on average own about 2 properties per person, and home ownership is almost universal. So about 94% of federal MPs own at least one property. Now, this includes investments, residential properties, holiday homes, and agricultural properties. Now, compare this to the general population, which in the 2021 census showed 67% of the general normal population own properties. So over the past 12 months, interestingly enough, Crikey has reported that total property ownership in Canberra has dipped slightly. But that drop, they're saying, has more to do with retiring MPs owning a lot of portfolios and younger MPs coming through, rather than any possible shifts to policy. So it's gone from 517 properties to 455. Now, when we look at the current MPs, so Albanese, he's listed as having 3 properties. Chalmers has got 1 investment property. Liberal MP Ben Small has 7 properties, and 6 properties for both Labor's Tony Burke and Michelle Ananda Rajar, and I hope I said that correctly. But one of the important aspects of these changes that isn't spoken about a lot is the grandfathering aspect. So this is when the properties that are currently held now are grandfathered, which means they're not going to be impacted. Is this going to be a core component of these changes? Because we all know that there's a lot of skin in the game when it comes to these MPs, and that's usually what it's all about. So it's interesting to note that Ken Henry, he was the author of the last tax review, said that any grandfathering would just outdo any good that CGT discount changes will bring in. And just today, Allegra Spender has said that grandfathering needs to be limited to 5 to 10 years. So is this going to be something that they're going to bring in? Will they do changes? Is there all of this talk and they're going to turn around and not do any of these changes? Because we do know how much they actually own, how much of an impact it's going to affect them. So I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts about the MPs and what they own, and whether these changes are going to affect them, and ultimately what you think about the grandfathering or possible grandfathering. If you haven't already done so, hit the follow button for more.